If you're looking for a trusted and reliable source of news, information, op-eds, and all that good stuff, check out my friends over at patriotpost.us. A link for them will be in the description box. So when you head over there and subscribe, tell them that ABL sent you. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about black support for the current president, Donald Trump, skyrocketing during his presidency. Now, I'm going to point to quite a few things that prove my statement I just made, but let's start with the numbers first and foremost so you get kind of an idea of where I'm headed. Now, both Rasmussen and Emerson College have released poll data that say the current president, Donald Trump, has a 34% approval rating among black Americans. Now, this is tremendous. It is big. If you know anything about black voting in America and how it's been over the past 50 years, you would know that right around 90-95% of blacks that vote for the Democratic Party. That's been the trend since like the 1960s and 70s. You know, before that, it wasn't that way. We had much more voter parity, like half and half, the same way whites do, and to a certain extent Hispanics, you know, but that's not been the same as it was back then over the past 50 years. But it appears to be going back in that direction. Okay, now, are we going to be able to get 100% black support for the Republican Party? No, I don't think so, or for Trump. But if we can get 25%, I'd be jumping for joy. 34%, that's crazy. 50%, that'd just be monumental. Now, this is very important to national politics, not just to the black community, Hispanics or whites, Asians, but to everybody, because the Democratic Party, especially in national elections, they rely on the black vote. They know they're going to get 90-95% of the black vote. So they don't put much investment into trying to court the vote. They don't really do anything to get it. They just rely on it. And when they don't get it, it causes a problem. And I think the Democratic Party may understand this is going on. This is going to prove my point about black support for the current president, for the Republican Party, increasing and people taking notice. The Democratic Party are trying really hard right now to do a couple of different things. First and foremost, the impeachment kerfuffle, the BS, the brouhaha around that. They're trying to keep pushing that. Now, they know they won't actually be successful. May they impeach him? Sure, they may, but impeachment does not mean you get removed from office. All that it means is you get sent to a trial phase in the Senate, and the Senate must convict you to get you removed from office. Now, in order for the Senate to vote to convict him, you got to have 20 Republicans that vote in favor of conviction. If you cannot get one Republican to vote for the impeachment inquiry, just to see if you're going to actually go to the impeachment phase, let alone the removal, how are you going to get 20 to flip and vote for the removal? They're not going to be able to do it, and they know that. But to go through this whole process and this whole rigmarole is a big time distraction, and it may convince some people that, hey, the president is corrupt, I can't vote for him. It's a voter intimidation tactic because they know that votes are leaving their party. The Democrats can't win fair and square, so they got to do little dirty tricks like this. And beyond the whole impeachment nothing burger, they're also trying to push illegal immigration more and also amnesty. Okay, so you get a bunch of people that come from, you know, third world or whatever in here that may vote Democrat. If you give them the ability to be a citizen and vote in federal elections, now you can win the vote that way. So the black vote is at this point kind of expendable because they're trying to get other people to come in and replace black people, period, in America, and also their vote. While at the same time, the Democratic Party says, oh, the right, they're racist. The right hates you. Well, look at all the things that the quote unquote racist right has done to help not just black folks, but all Americans, but especially black folks. Prison reform, like 5,000 inmates free from the penitentiary. 95% of them are black. I mean, you're talking about lower taxes and opportunity zones, things that are going to directly impact black Americans that oftentimes struggle with capital and the prison system, things that are going to help us directly. The right is doing, but the left are not doing. The left want to replace blacks. The right wants to empower blacks, and everybody else in America. Simple as that. The left, they want more of the welfare state, which is the reason why, quite frankly, so many black folks vote for the Democratic Party. And it's also the reason why the family structure in black America has just taken a nosedive off a cliff. At one point in 1960, we had like a right around 20-25% single parent household rate. And the Moynihan report was written. That's a big different story right there. I may link to that in the box. But there was a report written about the black family right around 1960 from Moynihan, a Democrat. And in the report, he said that 20-25% single parent household rate in the black community was a tragedy. Now we're at about 75% single parent household rate. Why? It's because the welfare state has risen up, and rather than going through hard times and, becoming married, having kids, we just do whatever you want because, it's a safety net right there. The federal government. It's not just hurt us in the quote unquote black community. It's hurt all Americans. Whites in 1960 had about a 5% single parent household rate, meaning kids that were born to two married parents was 95%, and kids that were not born in a married household was 5%. Now they went from 5% to 25%. They're at the rate we were in the 1960 year, which was an emergency back then. So the welfare state and a lot of these laws that are on the books have impacted all of us in a very negative way. The Democratic Party wants to entrench that and expand it. This is the reason, in part, why they're losing. They want to push all these crazy leftist ideologies. They want to push climate change, talking about the world's going to end in 12 years, all this fear mongering, hysteria. And also they've become kind of a warmongering party. Well, they've been that for a while, but they're most certainly out and open with it. You got guys on the campaign trail like Cory Booker quoting Mad Dog Mattis, a well-known warmonger. So it's like, what are we doing here? The left, they're going too far left, too radical. And as a result, the right are doing things to fill that gap that they're leaving and just sticking to our core values and principles. We're getting people on our side. A lot of black folks see this and they're jumping on it. When I came on YouTube in like 2015, there was not a lot of black conservative voices out there, but now there's many. And that's what I wanted. I want to have more of us out here spreading the word, spreading the message. When Trump was a nominee and when he became the president, like right at the beginning, there was no blacks for Trump, black voices for Trump, Blexit, or anything like that. But now he's become the president and people can see what he's doing. They can observe his actions, aside from what the media wants to paint him as. Now, these groups have come about. A lot of black folks are jumping on the train, and we're going to ride it to a good destination. So the poll numbers, you may have seen the Emerson College one. It had a sample size of like 1,100. That's not a lot of people. However, the polls are just one thing you can see that points to black support for Trump increasing. Okay. You see all these groups, Blacks for Trump, Blexit, Black Voices for Trump. You see a lot of black conservatives out here, guys wearing the MAGA hats. You're seeing more and more of this just in the street, regular chatter. Just talk to people on the street, just anywhere you go, and ask them about Trump. They may try to give you a negative response, but quite frankly, a lot of us like Trump. We liked Trump before he became the president, so we're not all going to be fake like that. We're going to say, okay, I thought Trump was the guy back in 2012 when he was hanging out with Snoop Dogg and Puff Daddy. So I'm not going to feel differently now. I'm going to have the same point of view I had back then that I do now. He's not changed. The media are trying to frame him in a certain way that some people are believing in. But as I close, most people, most regular everyday normies are not necessarily going to be swayed by the media to the point where they just totally abandon all of their core principles and values. If you do not like Trump or Republicans to begin with, and the media says a thing that's negative about them, then you may buy into it. But if you were not really political, just a regular person, you are less likely to buy into it. And that right there is a big part of the reason why black support for Trump is rising. Will the poll numbers and the increased enthusiasm around Trump from the black community translate into votes? I most certainly hope so, and I believe that it will, but only time will tell. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that black support for Trump is truly rising? Do you believe the poll data? Do you believe your own eyes, what you've been seeing out here on the internets, in the street, everywhere. If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Do you not believe the poll data? Do you not believe what your own eyes see? People like myself and many others wearing your MAGA hats, talking about Trump 2020, talking about conservative values, talking about getting family back together, talking about not being for illegal immigration. Do you not believe that? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. And as I close, I got to say one more thing here. The media and the left are pretty much in bed with each other to try and get their nominees elected. They don't really have anybody strong, so they're trying to do dirty tactics. Meanwhile, over here on the right, we're just talking about things that people want and we're delivering. As long as we keep doing that and keep the energy high, we're not going to lose in 2020. It's going to be a landslide. And I think that the numbers from the black community, when it's all said and done, once we get finished voting, once Trump gets reelected, will be very surprising to the world. And I hope that this trend continues. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.